former Octagon girl Amber Nicole Miller, and still a very attractive model. Amber, thank you very much for the interview. One of the more major questions to ask is, the role of the Octagon girl has changed quite a bit since you were one. How do you feel about the changing role of it since?
I think it's fantastic. I really do. I think that these girls making a full career out of being an Octagon girl is pretty fabulous. I mean, they book more jobs, they book magazines, they get more legitimate modeling gigs just from being an Octagon girl. So I think it's really awesome. I think that getting them in the forefront and getting them the notoriety is cool. One thing I don't like, and this is my bad, but I think that all fighters should make more than the Octagon girls. I love the Octagon girls, and I think it's awesome, but there are fighters out there who don't make as much as they do, and I don't think that's right. I think that their training and their hard work, is why the girls are there, and I think that these fighters should be compensated for what they do.
And speaking of how being an Octagon girl would help the girls now, how did it help you personally?
A lot, actually. I mean, I model a lot. I mean, I've been modeling since I was 5 years old, so it's been a really long career. But becoming an Octagon girl just got me a fan base that are really just true blue fans. So it was awesome. I got to do a lot of national magazines. I met the love of my life like 17 years ago, almost. I mean, that was a really long time ago.
While you were both still in.
Yeah, we were both in the UFC. I started with UFC 34, and I was there until UFC 59, and I did the first 3 Ultimate Fighters. So I got to meet a lot of great competitors, and be there when the sport was a baby. So it was awesome.
Yeah, that was related to the next question. How have you felt having been part of something that's just grown into what some, Dana White especially, calls the fastest growing sport in the world?
I always knew it would be. To be honest with you, I watched it when I was a kid. I watched the underground stuff. I watched WWE. Like, these are the things, WWF was cool to me. And, the underground UFC was so cool. And I was like, becoming an Octagon girl, I was like, I get front row tickets to watch fights. Awesome. Like, that's a great job. But watching it become the sport it is today, I think is fantastic. I think it's, it's great for the fans and it's great for the fighters, and it really gives an outlet to these fighters who they're born that way. They're born to fight. They were born to compete, and this is what they do best. And I think it's such a great place for them to do that.
Do you think it's important for a ring girl to be passionate about the sport of mixed martial arts?
Absolutely. If you're not passionate about your job and really like being an Octagon girl, I made it a point to learn the fighters' names, learn, the submissions, learn the moves. Because if you're not well versed in, why you're there and what you're working for, people ask you questions and people want to know if you're passionate about something. And I think being passionate about the sport, I mean, who doesn't like fighting? And let's be honest, like I was raised watching fighting as a little kid, and I think that it's awesome. So yeah, I mean, I think the Octagon girls should know, who they're there to support, because that's why they're there.
Okay. And one final question: as the role of the Octagon now is kind of to almost be an ambassador to the regions in which the MMA events are held. You have Octagon girls from Asia, Australia,
right, Mexico,
the U.S., Brazil. How do you think? What do you think of that state of evolution with them representing essentially the regions and the fighters?
I think it's a good idea because, obviously they've got their staple girls, but, it's a lot of traveling and it's a lot of events. You're looking at, almost 4 events a month, if not more. And, how are the girls going to be able to spread themselves so thin? They wouldn't even have a life. So I think it's good. I think that spreading it out for these girls to be there for their region, which is another, amazing thing. You have the girls that are from Mexico, and you have the girls from Brazil. I think it's good. It brings you, as a fan, you have another reason to watch because you have a girl from your country or from your city. Like, that's another thing that's really cool.
Okay. I know that I said this was the last question, but
No!
My goodness, he says, I'll string you in for one more.
Okay, so
last one match. He has stuff to do.
So this is the
This is the question?
The last question. Okay, so in what part of almost part of the evolution of the Octagon Girl started with the integration of the other Zuffa-owned promotions, like Ariani was the original, and then she was joined by Brittany, who was WBC, then Chrissy Blair joined them from Strikeforce. What do you also think of like that inclusion as a way of maintaining the past, but at the same time?
Well, I think it's good because they're looking to keep and validate that fan base. So to keep these girls who people already know and love and who already follow, I think it's great. I think it's a great idea to keep these girls with the companies. When they buy a company and they get rid of it, like WC or whatever, like they consolidate and take the fighters from that. It's fair enough to bring girls as well because they've all built their own fan base and it's smart for the sport. You want people who already have a fan base and already have people watching them religiously at their fights. So now you have more options.
Okay. Thank you very much, Amber Nicole Miller.
Pleasure to meet you.